Well, again, welcome back to Cosmic, Frank Cottrell Boyce. We left it yesterday with Liam in Bootle Strand Shopping Centre, pretending to be a dad. Let's see what he gets up to today. Another time she brought her little sister Abitha with her. Oh, another one, said the woman in News and Booze. I didn't know you had two. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but it's lovely to see a young dad spending time with the girls the way you do. And they're both a credit to him. Aren't you lucky girls to have such a good dad? And she gave them both a chomp bar each. It was a golden time, and maybe we should have stopped there. But if you play lots of games and the moment you get good at something, it feels like level 1. You start itching to level up. One day Lisa had to finish early because her dad was ill. We could have spent the time in the Strand doing all the usual things. However, we could have used the time to look for level 2. The 61 bus stops right outside the parish hall and goes all the way to Liverpool's celebrated city centre. So there it was, the way to level 2. Being a grown-up in the Strand was fun. Being a grown-up in Liverpool city centre was totally cosmic. The moment we got off the bus, a woman in a little white miniskirt and red sash came up to me and said, "Hello," and gave me a sample of new yoghurt drink. "Here," she said, "have some more for your little girl." We hadn't even finished drinking that when another woman gave me a free newspaper, and another one, in a trouser suit, asked me if we had 5 minutes to answer some questions. The questions were mostly about how we got to town, what our favourite shops were. Then there were a few about the year I was born and what I did for a living. I gave her my dad's and told her I was a taxi driver. She said, "Would you like to come in here and taste the new sandwich spread we're developing? We'd value your opinion." She took us to a really nice room and gave us free sandwiches and fizzy water. Afterwards, we had to fill in questionnaires and we got to keep the pens. Florida asked for more sandwich. The woman in the trouser suit laughed and said, "I guess that's all the feedback we need. So can we have some more then?" No. Which is how we ended up near the world famous waterfront, looking in the window of a Porsche showroom. Florida said, "That'd be going too far, wouldn't it?" Let's find out. I was getting that crispy new world feeling again. It was the first time in a car showroom. I'd never seen a car on a carpet before. It was like being in the living room of the posh car family. The cars looked smaller and glossier than they normally do. A man in a suit saw us come in and said, "Be with you in a minute, sir. Help yourself to coffee." There was a coffee machine and a plate of biscuits. Disappointingly, mostly plain digestives. Florida nabbed the only bourbon. She walked round dropping crumbs on the carpet. There was a really nice, sleek-looking car. Florida said, "Take a picture of me with my mobile." Why? That's what dads do. She leaned on the bonnet and smiled when I took a picture. Straight away, the man in the suit was standing next to us. "I admire your taste," he said. Florida said, "This is the Boxster. Wayne Rooney's got two like this in red." "He has indeed," said the man in the suit. "And he bought them both here. You're a very well-informed little girl." Then she asked me how old she was. I said, "She's 11. Then I thought I said something like, just to say something grown up. So I said, "I'm not sure about this colour." "There's a red one, like Wayne's over here. Go and have a look." So I did. I got to agree with you. A car like this was born to be red. And it was nice of him to agree with me, even though I didn't remember saying that. She costs a bit. I know. The price was written on the windscreen. It took up most of the windscreen. But she's worth it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you looking to buy or just looking? Yeah. I know I should have said, but to buy sounded older. Would you be bringing your old car in, part exchange? No. I like my old car. I'll probably keep my old car. It's a good car. I know the score. The other one's the family car. That's for when you're being proper grown-up, Dad. This is for when you're playing racing cars. Isn't that right? And he winked at Florida. Men, eh? We never grow up, do we? He definitely hasn't, said Florida. Well, said the man in the suit, let's pretend we have grown up. Just for a minute. What's your income? I'm not right sure, really. It varies. You're right. You're so right. I'm too nosy. I mean, you haven't even said you want it yet, have you? No, I haven't. I'm always giving it a hard sell. Car like this, you should let it sell yourself. That's when Florida said, can we sit in it then? He looked at her for a second and she said, please. Go on then. We both got in. She whispered, you should have said me to say please. You did say please? Yeah, but you should have told me before I got the chance. That's more dad-like. Okay. The man in the suit looked in, winked at Florida and said, comfy? Yeah, said Florida. I said, yeah, what? Yeah, thanks. And then the man handed me the keys. Go on, he said. You know you're dying to. Just judge her out onto the forecourt. See how she handles. Before I could say anything, he was asking the other salesman to move the other cars out the way and open the big door so I could take the car outside. I'll need to push the seat a bit back for you. You're a big lad, aren't you? I could have said, yeah, I'm a big lad. That doesn't mean I'm old. I didn't say that. I said, thanks, and added, mate. Have you got your licence on you, Mr. Digby? No, I haven't. I tried to sound not too happy about this. That's all right, Mr. Digby. I trust you. Thousands wouldn't. He crouched down next to me and gave me a guided tour of the dashboard. There's your MP3 player, your ergonomic seat thing, your sat-nav in case you actually want to go somewhere. I had a thought. I've got Draxworld on my phone. Can I hook that up to the sat-nav? He was impressed. He said, I'm not sure. Give it a go. I got Draxworld up on my phone and chose a Waterloo. Waterloo, said the man. No, this doesn't work. Waterloo's about 15 minutes from here. This is showing a journey time of 3 days. Actually, I said, that's Waterloo in Sierra Leone, Africa. He looked at me like I was talking pure poetry. Wow, he said, Africa, and it's in your favourites. What would you do? Shoot down through France, over the Pyrenees? He was gone, imagining the whole journey in his head, the rivers, the mountains, the ferries, the deserts. Mr. Digby, he said, you deserve this car. If I could give it to you. So I turned on the key in the ignition. The car made a cat sound like a cat purring. The man stepped aside and pointed to the bonnet. Engineering perfection, he smiled. It's at that moment, I thought, but in 5 minutes' time it might be a load of scrap metal. The thing about level 2, of course, is that you've got new unexpected dangers. You stand a much better chance of being killed. I looked down at the pedals. I knew one of them was the accelerator. I just wasn't quite sure which one. That's one lesson a World of Warcraft teaches you, that you want to succeed on the next level, you've got to acquire new skills. Don't level up until you've skilled up. Sadly, this was a lesson I'd forgotten. I was pretty sure, though, that the accelerator was one in the middle. I had my foot on it when the passenger side opened and a very familiar voice said, you out now, come on. I probably didn't mention this at the time, Dad. But on balance, I was pleased to see you. When I climbed out, you were shouting at the man in the suit, telling him I could have been killed and asking why he doesn't check ages. How was I supposed to know, wailed the man. By checking his licence. Good point, Dad. He didn't have one. Of course he hasn't got one, he's 12 years old. Look, mate, said the man in the suit. Don't go blaming me because your son's a freak. I thought that was going to hit him. He growled. He's not a freak. He's normal, but tall. Just wasn't his height. It was the fact that he seemed to have a daughter. Dad's got this little statue of St. Christopher stuck to his dashboard. That when he was shoving me into the taxi on the way back to the town centre, I bumped against it and it rolled to the floor. Pick that up, snapped Dad. Okay. You've knocked baby Jesus off his back. Just don't talk to me, Liam. I said okay, but there was something I wanted to ask him. I waited until we were on the dock road and then I said, how did you know we were there? I'm your dad, he said. If you act funny, I notice. If you get on an unexpected bus instead of going home, I follow you. Even that means turning down fares and having the boss bawling at me on the radio. I'm your dad. It's what dads do. Thinking about it now makes me wonder if you're out there somewhere behind us, charging after us through the waste of space in your taxi. But no, No taxi would be able to generate the necessary escape velocity. In case you're interested, by the way, Dad, this is how Dad located us that day. When he gave me his old phone, he bought a new one but kept his old number, so there were two phones. Phone 1, Dad's, and phone 2, mine, with the same identity. So if he was ever worried about me, he could fire up Drax World and request present position of phone 2, and that would tell him where I was. So my phone looked like a phone, but really it was just an electronic tag. Because we shared a phone number, I used to get all Dad's messages from Pine Planet telling me that the new kitchen unit's ready for collection, and Dad used to get messages from members of World of Warcraft saying, being attacked by dragons, need your healing powers now, and captured by 50 goblins, kill or all for ransom. A nervous third person might have thought, blimey, we're being invaded by mythical creatures, and maybe gone and hidden away in the woods behind the golf course. Dad just thought his phone had gone funny and turned it off and turned it back on again. That's Dad's solution to every technological problem. Microwave, sat-nav, computer, dishwasher. Turn it on, turn it back on again. It'll be okay. To be fair, it usually works. I'd try it now, but I'm not quite sure this rocket has an on or off switch. Next chapter, my Planet Panda Pop. The school assembly incident was bad. The poor showroom incident was like being killed and sent back to level 1. With no spare lives. All we wanted, said Mum, was for you to learn some social skills. Social skills, said Dad. Well, let's see. He's got a little girl to pose as his daughter. He's persuaded a salesman to lend him a Porsche. He's got social skills. He's got too many social skills. We asked him to learn some and he learned too many. That's the problem. It turned out that Dad was right about visible friends being different from cyber friends. If someone doesn't turn up on World of Warcraft, you just walk and recruit someone else. But when I walked through the New Strand shopping centre on Saturday mornings, even though there was thousands of people there, it was really noticeable that none of them was Florida. Mum got really stressed about the whole thing. Liam, she kept saying, what are we going to do with you? Dad looked on the internet for self-help groups for people with unusual problems. About an hour later he came back and said, what about this? Popular coastal resort Tunisia, £150 a head. Tunisia's a bit far, said Mum. I was hoping we'd go be a group in the library. No, I'm talking about an holiday. That's what we need. The three of us go somewhere where no one knows us and just unwind. I was completely excited about this. I'd never been abroad before. I spent the whole week reading holiday brochures and even went with Mum and Dad to the travel agent, which was a disaster because when I get completely excited, I talk too much. For instance, when Tunisia was mentioned, I said, yes, 4-star accommodation and all meals, and we could go and see the Sahara Desert. Mum said, the Sahara Desert? You are joking. The Sahara Desert is a desert. People get lost in deserts. They starve to death in deserts and see mirages and get eaten alive by ants. No, we're not going to a desert. The travel agent woman said, well, if you did choose the optional desert excursion, Mrs. Digby, you will be accompanied by our trained local staff in a fully air-conditioned coach. It's a very well-organised trip. No one ever, said Mum, intends to get eaten alive by ants. But accidents happen, especially in the Sahara Desert. So what else have you got? Tenerife's already quite warm. Although it's politically part of Spain, the island of Tenerife is off the coast of Africa and therefore it's hot all year round, especially in the south. It's more rainy in the north because it's got a big pointy mountain in the middle of the island. It's so tall it's even got snow on it even in the summer. It's called Teide. Mum looked interested when I told her all this. I probably should have stopped there and not gone to mention that Teide just isn't an ordinary mountain. A volcano, said Mum. An extinct volcano, said the woman from the travel agent. Extinct or dormant, said Mum, surprising everyone with her unexpected geological knowledge. What's the difference? Asked the travel agent. The difference, said Mum, between life and death. The travel agent woman held the brochure for Florida. Very popular, she smiled, without going into detail. Mum looked at me. I said nothing. She looked at the travel agent, who just kept on smiling. She looked at Dad. He tried to keep smiling too, but she raised an eyebrow, and he just can't cope with that. In the end, he admitted, alligators. After that, there was Turkey, no, earthquakes, Cyprus, poisonous triggerfish, Italy, the mafia, Greece, shipwrecks. Then we're standing outside the shop with Mum taking a deep breath and saying, well, I haven't got anywhere, I'm already glad to be home. They decided to forget about the holiday and redecorate the kitchen instead. Dad pointed out that a holiday only lasted a week, whereas a new kitchen would last forever. So instead of going to a well-organised air-conditioned trip to the Sahara, we went to nothing but drainers and looked at granite work surfaces. This one's a bit pricey, said the man, but you get what you pay for, real Italian granite. It was mostly blue. And I remember thinking about it and thinking, that's igneous rock, that came from underground in Italy. That drainer has got a more exciting life than I have. Dad said, what do you think, Liam? Good. Can't go wrong with igneous if it's igneous, isn't it? The man said, well, I don't think so. These are new in today from our suppliers in Turin. I said, it's made of crystallised magma. No, son, this is real Italian granite. It's not made at all. It was made by magma bubbling up from the Earth's mantle millions of years ago. The molten magma cooled its crust and turned into crystals, and then sat being squeezed into flat beds for about a billions of years until it was dug up by Italians. All that trouble, and then they chopped it and sent it to nothing but drainers, where my mum will look at it for 5 minutes and say, I'm not sure about the colour. The man looked at Dad. Dad just shrugged. He's gifted and talented. They do all about this thing. Last month it was global warming. Not only now was I not allowed to go to Tunisia, I wasn't even allowed to walk home by myself anymore. Mum and Dad took to meeting me from the school gates and escorting me home like a prisoner. They would have banned me from Little Stars too, except I'd done so much work for Big Friendly Giants, it wouldn't be fair if it got cancelled. Lisa tried to be nice about it. You're the star, she said, so you get your own dressing room. Then she shoved me in this cupboard thing just behind the stage. There was one chair, no window, a packet of pickled onions, Space Ranger crisps and blue Panda Pop. Space Rangers are the cheapest crisps you can buy. The crisps, until you put them in your mouth. And then they stop being crisps. The moment they make contact with your tongue and become all soggy. The flavour's sorted optional, it seems to fall off the crisp like a powdery sludge. The bottom of the bag, which means you can scoop it up with your finger. Blue Panda Pops are supposedly raspberry flavour, but the flavour's irrelevant as they're just so fizzy that when you drink them, all your senses close down and your brain just shouts, fizzy! Later on you belch a lot, which is fine, but if you're playing the BFG, he's alright because he's quite a belchy character. I remember sitting in that cupboard feeling like the rest of the world had completely vanished, that I was now orbiting the sun, entirely on my own on a chair, planet Panda Pop, sitting on a tiny enclosed space, eating strange chemicals. It turns out that Little Stars were outstanding training for astronauts. Thanks a lot. Try again tomorrow.